Hey guys, I wanted to show you some of the things I've done before I ever even took this rover for a run here, this crawler. One of the first things I did, got the wheel off here to really show you as well as I can, is I very, very carefully bent this upper prong up. This one was already bent in. Put the wires together. I got a little sheathing on them. Now, I don't know if this sheathing is such a great idea because when you articulate, it does put a little bit of stress straight down through it, but it goes straight into that lug on the motor, so I don't think it's going to wear it out. It's not flexing the solder joints. Okay, so that works. I did that both sides. That's the first thing I did. And then I kind of got the wiring lashed down so it won't hang up on anything, and it's protected if the crawler flips. Then I powered it up, and the first thing I noticed was this one wheel was going woo, 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 woo. And what it is these bead locks, these are true bead locks, which is really cool, but for whatever reason, the rubber was thicker just in one area, just like right here. So I had to shave it down using the Ego. Thank you, Pain Tool. Very sharp knife, like a little razor. Shaved it down so it would go into the slot. I want to show you how these bead locks work just so you can see. There's a groove, there's a foam insert, and then this goes into the groove, and it's got a seat all the way down the same, all the way around, and anywhere that it's too thick this way to go into that slot, it wouldn't seat. So I went around and I shaved it. I hope I've got it pretty much where it'll go back together. So I'm going to put it back on. These are true bead locks, which is nice, and these are pretty heavy, so that helps get some weight down on your wheel. This will hold the tires to the rim so there will be no slippage at all. Very nice setup. Seems like a nice pliable tire. Foam seems pretty good. So let me get that back together and I'll show you what this thing looks like. Okay guys, got the wheel put back on. I wanted to touch on a couple other little things I had to deal with right out of the box. First of all, I made like a little way of just setting it up so it wouldn't affect the suspension. The suspension's not touching it, so I can check everything. And one thing I was noticing was that it wasn't dropping the same all the way around. So I took a quick look at the shock, took the shock out, measured it, took the other shock out, measured it. There was over 1/8 of an inch difference in extension length. Plus the shock was sluggish. It's just not right. One of the shocks wasn't right. It turned out that there was also a slightly short one on the opposite corner. So I had a slightly short shock, made the rig look cattywampus. So I swapped them around, so I have the ones that give me full length extension on one side and the ones that are kind of hung up on the other side. Just the way it came, similar to the way the one wheel wasn't seated right and was wiggling back and forth. So let me go ahead and turn this thing on. Get the camera over here so you guys can see the protocol. It's pretty simple stuff. It's just like any RC if you've ever had one. There's got to be a power switch. You do that, it wants to center itself. And as you can look at this right now, you can see that this thing is not trimmed out right. So anyway, here, let's turn on the receiver. It goes bleep bleep. Now, apparently, if I want to trim out these wheels, all I got to do is go like this. And you can see the servo moving over. You hear it, weird ticking sound? Very strange. So, I've got reasonable travel that way and this way on the front. Makes a little growling sound when it's fully cocked over. It should just shut up. Still doesn't look like it's totally centered, but I won't know till I start running it. So all I did to trim it out was push this back and forth. Okay. Then we've got the different selections you can get. You can make it so by pressing this button it now will turn both wheels the same direction. You can set your end points and all that stuff through this menu, which is kind of obnoxious. You also have these ways of just centering the rear wheel on its own by going like this, and it moves it. I don't know if you can see it, but it moves it back and forth with this lower button. Then it does a little twiddle when it says I got your input. You can see that this wheel just isn't quite right. This one in the front, see how it goes woo woo woo. You can see this one also. This one looks like it's out of square. That might be just from being in the box. Back one isn't too bad. This one's the best one maybe, but this one really is wild. And if you look at it, just looks like it's just squished out more on one side than the other. I'll see if it makes much difference. So basically, I'm ready to take this thing for a little test run and see how it performs. Let's see how we do here.
It's fun.
Yeah, have fun with it. Okay, press that button that changes the steering modes. Remember that big one in the middle? Nope, not that one. Here, let me show you. It's this one right here. This one underneath your finger. Okay, that's one. That's it. Stop there. Okay, now you can steer it where it steers the front and the back. You'll be able to steer a lot tighter. Oops. Back up. Okay, turn the other way. You're okay. There you go. Good. Good obstacle avoidance. Yeah, some things are too big for this crawler, huh? It's a fun machine, huh?
Is this waterproof?
Not really, no. It could be made pretty waterproof. Here, bring it on back so I can see it. It's getting too far away. Do a little more rock crawling for me. I want to see how it operates over here on this pile of rocks over here. It doesn't seem to care very much, huh? It's more like a rock bouncer. It just goes right over everything. Well, it seems to do the job. It definitely goes over rough terrain.
I can make a really sharp turn.
Yeah, you can. Here, go up over those rocks. There you go. That thing doesn't care about those rocks. Those rocks are too small. It says, I don't care about those rocks. So right out of the box, without any real adjustments, it is fun to play with, even with the little battery pack.
Really fun.
Here, let's trade. You hold this. Okay, you don't have to press any buttons, just hold it for me. And keep it on the car. I think the battery might be running down a little bit, but it's still got some juice. Let's go through some rough rock. Oh, Dad flipped it over. Gonna make it flip over on its own?
Hi! Look at that!
Nope, I'm just gonna end up scratching the body. You did better than I did, man. You didn't even flip it over. I flipped it over.
I have more experience with it.
You had your own crawler. Oh, I'm high-sided. Let's see if I can get it like that. Oh, I just keep flipping it over, man.
I'm being a very good filmer.
You are. You're doing awesome. I don't think it's going to want to climb up a big rock like that. Nope. That's too tall for it. But it tried. It thought about it. Yeah, it has no problem going over little things like this, does it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. There it is, the red cat.